2007 through 2015 Infiniti G35 fuel rail dampener replacement. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'm going to walk you step by step through the process of changing out the fuel rail dampener. So if you take a look here on this Infiniti G35, the fuel dampener here is leaking gas. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of changing that out. The first thing we need to do is remove the top engine cover. It's just held on with these 5 little bolts here, or nuts. Remove those. So I'll have the part numbers and everything linked up in the description of the video. If it's available through my supplier, I'll link it up. If not, the part numbers will be there so you can order it. So we're going to loosen up the air snorkel clamps here and here. And then we're going to take the 10mm bolt off here and then pull the hose clamp here and pull the vent hose off right here. So once I took the clamps off, I pulled it off and I went ahead and just left the vent hose and everything on there and just kind of pushed it over off to the side like this. The less we have to take off, the better. So the fuel dampener has a long line attached to it. We need to disconnect it. This is the new part we're using as a reference. So we're going to squeeze the tabs like this and you're going to pull the line off. So it's going to be down there. So what we need to do is reach down there and pull that connector off. Also, as you follow the line down, it's held on with a clamp onto the side of the fender well here. So we need to open that clamp and free the hose from that clamp. To do that, I just use a long flat blade screwdriver, kind of put it in between right here and give it a little twist and it'll pop open. Once you get it to pop open, you can reach down there and pop it out of the little holder there. Now to get the fuel line disconnected, we need to go underneath the vehicle and you need to follow up right here, right against the exhaust. If you follow it up, you'll see a green cap right there covering the fuel line. We need to pop that cover off. So you want to make sure that this engine is ice cold when you're doing this or else you will be burned. So once you get underneath here, you're going to pop that cover off. You can use a flat blade screwdriver and stick it in there, or if your hands are skinny enough, you can reach up there and grab that little green cover and pull it off the fuel line. So what I ended up doing was kind of picking at it with a screwdriver here and it got it to flare open a little bit. And then once I got it to flare open, I went back up top and I was able to reach around here and pull the little green cap off the fuel line here. There's a little plastic cover that's kind of covering it up as you have to reach around. So I pulled it off. So this is a little safety clip that holds the fuel line on. So once you get that removed, you can reach down there and squeeze these little tabs on the old fuel line like this, and then pull the hose off. It's a tight fit down there. There's a little plastic cover that's kind of covering it up. I wasn't able to successfully get my fingers on the tabs and pull it off, but if you have small fingers, you might be able to get your hands back there, squeeze a little tab and pull the line off. But if you're struggling like I was, what I ended up doing was taking off the 2 10mm bolts right here, holding this little bracket right here. This little bracket kind of acts like a heat shield to block the heat from the exhaust on the fuel line here, and it's also connected with a little wrapped around the hose. So we want to pop it off the hose too once you get it unbolted like this. I just used a ratcheting wrench to get down there. So once you get it unbolted and popped off the hose, this is what the bracket's going to look like. The fuel lines run behind it, and that's the reason why you can't get your fingers back here to get the fuel line disconnected. Now that the bracket is out, if you look down there, you can see the fuel line and the green tabs. You're just going to reach down there, squeeze the tabs, give it a pull, and you'll be able to separate it. Now that the fuel line is disconnected below, we're going to take these 2 10mm bolts out right here and here. Once you get the 2 bolts removed, then you're just going to grab the dampener here and just kind of give it a wiggle and pull straight up, and it'll pop out of the little bracket there. So once you get it out, you're going to reach back down there and you're going to pull off this little green little clip that's on the fuel line down there. The new fuel dampener comes with the clip that's already in the hose. So you're just going to reach down there and pull the old one off. And then once you get that pulled off, then you're going to feed this down there and then you'll push it onto the line down there until it clips back on. So once you get it down there and clipped on, then you're going to go ahead and start the 2 bolts here on the top here. So you'll start the 2 bolts, snug those up until they're tight, and then reach down there and make sure that the fuel line is connected down below. You want to give it a little tug to make sure it doesn't going to pop back off. After that, you can take the little green safety cap and reach down here, and you can put that back on. So you'll reach down there and put it over the fitting, and then clip it on until it's secure around the 2 fittings so they won't pop back apart. After that, then you can feed the bracket here back down into position. So you'll slide it down into position and start the two bolts, and then make sure you clip the little hose back into the little bracket here. So you want to make sure you got that bracket back into place, bolt it back up, and the hose clamped back to the bracket. That way the fuel line doesn't rub on anything. And once you got that done, now you can take the air snorkel here and put it back over the throttle body on the air box and tighten up the two clamps, and put the 10mm bolt back here and tighten that back up. After that, you want to start the vehicle and double check that the line is not leaking below and the line is not leaking back up top. After that, you can put the top engine cover on and put the bolts back on, tighten it up. So like I said, I'll put the links in the description of the video for the parts, or the part numbers in the description of the video. That way, if you need to pick those up, you can find that information there. I'm Brian Esser from How To Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, encourage you to subscribe, invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again for watching.